Hi, my name is Tracy Mansfield, and I am joined by Mitch Fortune. We both serve as federal grants specialists for IDOE. Welcome to the third video in the Intelligrants series, which will focus upon domains and activities within the consolidated application. This graphic represents the 4 domains in which you will organize your funding when you submit the consolidated application. Arranging the consolidated application in this manner allows for the organization and coordination of multiple funding streams to support the same activity. As a result, the LEA can discuss and budget all of its needs in the same place. Let's take a look at each of the domains and the activities each includes.
Domain 1 is for administration and indirect cost. You have the ability to consolidate your administrative costs into one fund across the title grants, or you could budget each grant's administration costs separately. Consolidating the admin costs into one fund may allow you to reduce paperwork and tracking because someone who is fully funded by the consolidated admin pot could complete the semi-annual certification rather than time and effort logs. You'll also budget your LE's indirect costs in this section according to your approved rate. The second domain will focus upon supports for students. Think about your district-wide after-school program, STEM clubs, assessment costs, dual credit opportunities, accelerated learning, or SEL activities. Note this is not an all-encompassing list, but just represents some of the most commonly funded items we see that are meant to benefit students directly.
On this slide, you can see an example of what the budget page would look like within the consolidated application before you begin entering your activities. The domain column will include a drop-down menu of applicable activities. Each grant then has space for you to describe the grant-specific approvable item with further detail and budget the costs within the appropriate account and object code. The budget categories will be covered in more detail in a later video. In this example, you can see the LEA has budgeted for a STEM activity across all title funds. Title I is funding the salaries and benefits for 3 STEM teachers at each of their school-wide Title I buildings. Title II is funding the associated professional development for all LEA STEM teachers. Title III, which must be supplemental to all other federal funding streams, is funding stipends for EL teachers and paras to host STEM parent nights for EL families at each of the 5 buildings. Title IV is funding the 1 STEM teacher who will work at the non-title funded middle school and high school, and therefore not eligible to be funded under Title I like the other 3 STEM teachers. This teacher will work a half day at each building, which equals 1 full FTE.
The third domain is where you'll budget your educator talent initiatives, such as mentoring and induction programs, licensure or advanced coursework for teachers, conferences and workshops, instructional coaching, recruitment and retention incentives, differential pay for equating salaries for same positions at Title I schools, improving your evaluation systems, principal mentors, and so on. Lastly, this domain focuses upon equitable access, as all federal funds have a specific focus upon supporting student groups that are in additional need. You'll budget your homeless set aside here, your transportation for foster, parent and family engagement at the district level, and so on. In this example, you can see the LEA has budgeted for a homeless activity across all title funds. Title I is funding the supplies that allow the identified homeless student equitable access to his or her education. Title II is funding the professional development for the District McKinney-Vento liaison. Title III, which must be supplemental to all other federal funding streams, is funding stipends for EL teachers to provide after-school tutoring services to EL students identified as homeless. Title IV is funding the school-based mental health services through a contracted service for identified homeless students.
Since the consolidated application will allow you to budget activities across multiple grants, it's imperative that you include a variety of stakeholders. We encourage you to invite principals, classroom teachers, counselors, social workers, paraprofessionals, special area teachers, parents, community representatives, etc., in addition to district leadership and the individual grant program administrators, to participate in the consolidated application planning process. If you have any questions about the domains and activities within the consolidated application, please contact us at intelligrants@doe.in.gov. Thank you.